Today, I do want to talk about quite a serious topic for me, my panic attacks and agoraphobia, and how I managed to almost instantly cure them thanks to a certain type of meditation. Subscribe to my channel to receive weekly videos with stories, facts, and advice on transformational habits that will help you create lasting change in your life. It was about 10 years ago. I received my dream internship, and I'd been working for about 4 weeks for my two bosses, and I was really, really happy. Then one day, one of my two bosses called me in. I went to his office, and he more or less made me understand that they would be really happy to give me a job if they managed to free the resources for yet another position in the organization. And I was super happy. I was thrilled. It was like a dream come true to hear that. But on the other hand, until that point, I just felt like a normal intern that they would not really be expecting much of. And now all of a sudden, I felt that he was actually putting some pressure on me. He laughed back. We made it a joke, and I walked away feeling very happy, good about myself and about my whole life at this stage. Not really knowing what was going to happen. Anyways, the next day, I was invited with 5 other selected interns to go and meet one of the higher ranking people of this organization. And it was right after lunch. I had a good meal and 2 very strong coffee made by an American fellow intern of mine that I really loved. And I walked into this office of that guy with these 5 other interns. We sat at the table. And then the doors closed. If any of you ever had a panic attack, I think you may understand the feeling I had at this point. I felt trapped. I felt like, oh my God, there is no food around, there is no water around, there's nothing but those people I'm kind of scared of right now, and I have no escape. I can't go out. I shouldn't go out because it would make me look really, really strange. And what if I faint? What if I need food? And well, here it goes. That was my first ever panic attack, and it was really, really strong. I think the meeting went on for 2 or 3 hours, and it felt like basically my heart was pumping full speed, like I was running a sprint for 3 hours. It really was exhausting. Lights were blinding me, and I was looking in the corners to try and avoid feeling the brightness, and I was basically overwhelmed. So I moved out of that, and lucky enough, I knew exactly that this was a panic attack. So that day when I went back home, I really needed to talk to someone close that I knew wouldn't be judging me for that. So I actually called first my mom, and she was very understanding. I told her, Mom, maybe I've been aiming too high. Maybe I should bring it down a notch and not have such high dreams and just find a regular job, nothing special, and then I would not be freaked out so easily. And my mom went on yeah, sure, I understand you. I've had fears like that, kind of similar, and whatever you do, we'll be with you, we'll be supporting you, so do what feels good to you. Okay, so I was feeling pretty good about just that idea of not following my dreams, which is insane. But then I also called my dad, and I told him the same story, and I said, look, I think that's all a little too high. Maybe I should bring it down a notch and just find something regular, easy. And here goes the answer my father gave me. He's like, Anya, you're talking BS. And I was actually a bit shocked. That's not the answer I normally get from him. He's very supportive. We understand each other quite well. And I went like, what? And then he said, "You know what you have?" I'm like, "No." "Well, you're afraid." I'm like, "Thanks, Dad, for the psychoanalysis. I kind of figured that out already." And he goes like, "Yeah, well, but do you know what to do against the fear?" I'm like, "No." "Well, you confront it, because otherwise it's gonna ruin your life. It's gonna become bigger and bigger and follow you around." And I was like, whew, okay, I don't exactly like what he's saying, but yeah, he's right. So that's what triggered my intensive research. For the next couple of weeks, I started researching all I could. I think I went through all the languages I can speak and tried to research anything I could on the internet. And this was about 10 years ago, so I think today I would probably find much more material on a topic, but back then I was only hitting those websites, with which really looked like scam, where I would have to pay a lot of money to have the miracle solution, and I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to fall into the next trap, which would be just giving out my money for things that don't work. And the problem was I was reading a lot through the internet, more and more testimonies, and so what happened is that it gave me, reading all these testimonies was good in a sense, but on the other way, it gave me other situations and ideas where I could have other panic attacks. And so my panic attacks from then on just started building up and up and up, and so I was having them in most situations involving other people until a couple of weeks later, and it all just happened in 1 month, 1.5 months. I became agoraphobic. I woke up. I remember being in my bed, waking up and having the fear already, because I knew I had to go out and confront just people, being around people. I was scared of that, and which isn't like me really. But luckily enough, my research paid off at some point, and I stumbled upon the MC2 method. That's what it was called back then. The website is still on, and they had a series of about, I think, 7-8 podcasts that were for free, that were up there for you to listen to, and they said would cure you basically from panic attacks and agoraphobia. And if then you felt like the program really, really helped you, they were, of course, happy if you would donate some money, but you weren't forced to buy anything. So, yeah, I was a bit desperate, and I thought, what do I have to lose? So one day, after an exhausting day of agoraphobia and panic attacks, I came back home and I just sat and I did this meditation. What was really interesting was it was not the typical meditation I had heard of back then, and I wasn't meditating at all back then. So it was not really mindfulness, or it was not a meditation about getting calm, feeling better. It was exactly the contrary. I was a bit surprised at first, but it made sense. So the meditation basically was about confronting your fears. So I just had to sit there, imagine the worst case scenario for me, and observe my reaction to it, and how my body was reacting, and my thoughts, and just live with it for about 10 minutes. And this was groundbreaking. The next day I woke up, and this agoraphobia fear that was there right away, normally in the morning, it was gone. It was really gone. So that was amazing. And I kept on doing this meditation regularly for a while. And what happened is it took out the negative spiral of the mechanism of panic attacks, which is you fear that you fear, sort of, at some point. So it becomes like a vicious circle. And this kind of helps de-trigger this. So it helped me a lot on that, but it took me a few months more that I would not be a little anxious of those situations in a team. I think it may be about 3-4 more months so that I would erase this idea of my mind that I could even have a panic attack or get scared in a situation. But it never happened. Like, even if I would be maybe a little anxious before a meeting, because I would be like, oh, I'm gonna be in that room with those people, doors closed, and it would be awkward if I walk out. I would be a little anxious before, but it would never develop into a panic attack anymore, which I'm really, really grateful for, because back then I felt like I could not go into psychotherapy. I didn't want to go on medication. I was a bit scared. I didn't know about all those things very well, and I was just assuming that it would be a year-long process and that my life would be ruined because it would just take such a long time, and it would not solve my problem instantly like this meditation miraculously did. So it de-triggered the mechanism, but it also really, really helped me kind of put away the clouds and realize that the mechanism is one thing, but there's a reason why your fear came up in the first place. And my fear was ridiculous, really. It was just, I was so afraid of disappointing my bosses. I really liked the team, I liked the work. It was a dream, and since all of a sudden they had high expectations, I felt, and I didn't see how they were justified because I'd been only working there for 4 weeks. So I didn't understand that, and I was so afraid that my next move was gonna be my downfall, and that from that pedestal I would just fall to the bottom, the ground. And it was actually shocking to me because I had been setting myself the clear goal for at least 5 years to become self-confident, because I knew I was really, really lacking on that part. And I thought I had made so much progress. I was gathering experiences, doing studies, and I thought that by doing all this and proving to myself that I can do a lot and be part of like big organizations and everything, I thought that this would be enough, but it wasn't. And that's when I realized that I wasn't assimilating my progress, and I wasn't accepting it, and I was not accepting compliments. So I was always pushing away, oh, you're good, you did this well, or I was like, no, I'm not good. I don't. I even though I've done this and that, but that doesn't mean anything, because in any other situation, I'd probably fail. I'm bad. And so my negative self-talk, I recognized at this point, was really in my way. It actually helped me. I understood that one reason why I was getting in my way and not accepting compliments was that one of the worst character traits for me of a person is arrogance. And subconsciously, I was trying to make sure that I never become arrogant by simply blocking out any type of positive feedback I received. So from then on, it was a bit like a revelation. I knew that I had no choice. If I wanted mental sanity in the long term and a much better life, I had to accept compliments and become self-confident. But I could be self-confident in a humble way. That's what really helped me make a leap forward in that case. In retrospect, 10 years later, I'm very happy to let you know that the only thing that happened still with panic attacks was right after I cured those panic attacks. They kind of shifted to panic of flight. But I managed to solve this one as well, which will be material for another story, I guess. And it all happened within 9 months, something like that. And then it was totally gone. And I have not had any panic attacks since then. So, I'm very thankful for meditation, how it saved my life in that case. And nowadays I've integrated it as a habit, as a daily habit. And it's really changing my life still, every month, every year. So, Thank you, meditation. Subscribe to my channel to receive weekly videos with stories, facts, and advice on transformational habits that will help you create lasting change in your life. And subscribe to my channel. Bleh. Bleh. Don't do this, please, while I'm filming. Because I'm trying to do a one take and this. Yeah. Should I restart everything? Oh my god, it's been like 12 minutes.